Welcome to Cooking Out of the Bag. We would like to thank our sponsor, the Neighborhood Garden.
In this week's bag, we had mangoes. A lot of people are afraid of mangoes. They don't know how to cut them or how to use them. So I'm going to show you how to cut your mango. I am going to be using mine to make a salsa.
Mangoes have a pit, and so we want to cut them to the side of their pit. We don't want to cut straight down the middle. And the mangoes in this week's bag are really a nice ripe mango. So what I learned was, if you score it, and I'm cutting down but I'm not cutting through the skin, and I'm going to score it both directions. Oops. And I lay it down on the mat just in case I go through the skin, I don't cut myself, which a second ago I just went through the skin, so I'm glad I didn't have it in my hand. You can kind of see where it's pulling apart. And then, if I did it right, like a little porcupine, I have all my little mango pieces. And it's real easy to take them at that point. And this is much easier than trying to peel a mango, especially a juicy one. Anyone that's peeled a mango knows that when they're nice and juicy, they're not real easy to do. So I'm cutting these into a little bit smaller pieces for my salsa. I could use the food processor if I wanted, but I would not use the food processor for the mango. Otherwise, you'll just end up with a lot of juice and not so much fruit. Now that you have your mango prepared, we're going to use some other ingredients to make a yummy salsa. I'm going to use my sweet peppers from last week's bag from the Neighborhood Garden to start off this salsa. These are wonderful and sweet. I like dividing them out by color and trying to have a color balance. I just trim off the top. There's my little, I have to keep a trash bowl. Makes it easier to clean at the end of the day. Slice them in half. This does take a little more time than just popping it in your food processor, but I promise you this is well worth taking the time to do right. I don't know why, but it just tastes so much yummier. And you can see how pretty all that looks. And I'm going to pop that in. Normally I would use jalapeno peppers, but when we went to the store today, they were out of them, so I had to get serrano peppers. Serrano are a little more spicy. So I've got my gloves on, and I am probably going to take at least half the seeds out of these. With jalapenos, I don't take the seeds out. My family loves the spiciness. And I'm pretty much going to do this the same way I did the other peppers, except that I'm going to take half of it, and I'm going to strip this membrane out, and I'm going to slice it in little slivers like I did the other one. And I'm going to make sure that I have these seeds out because I don't want somebody to get a pocket of seeds. A seed here or there gives it a nice spice. And this is also going to give it some beautiful color. Make sure I get all my seeds up. And I'm going to rinse my mat pretty good and my knife really good before I start my next step. I only added one serrano pepper, and I'll add the other later after I finish to taste if I need more spice to it. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the tomatoes up. These were from my basket, my bag from the Neighborhood Garden this week. And I cut them the same way I do the peppers. Okay. Now you can add more tomatoes if you want after this. I just do one at a time and then kind of look at it all at the end. If I like how it looks, then I'm good. If I don't, I just add more of whatever I want. I'm going to add a little red onion. I really like the color. You can use white onion if you prefer white onion. I'm going to use about half, just enough to get some good color. I am going to put a little bit of garlic in here. I have my garlic press. Press that. So I like to roll my lime and squish it down before I cut it because it breaks it apart. And if you watch cooking shows, you see them do this a lot. It's just a lot easier to juice. See that juice coming out already? We're gonna squish a half a lime in here. Perfect, that'll help keep our color. Okay, I'm gonna add a tablespoon of vinegar and a 1/4 teaspoon of cumin. Now we lived in Texas for a while and a lot of people would add black beans to this, and it's really good. You can also add cilantro, or you can also roast some corn and add roasted corn, which tastes really, really good with it. I'm going to cover this, put it in the fridge, and this is going to be our snack tonight while we have game night.
Thank you for joining us with Cooking Out of the Bag. We look forward to seeing you next week. We're going to look at dehydrating and how to make dehydrated soup mixes. I hope to see you then.